Good morning, administrators and faculty and parents of Fairfield Prep. My name is Juvaughn Lee, but you can refer to me as Jovie. I'm here to talk to you about what I call my note. Unfortunately, in the next few weeks, I'm leaving and ending this chapter of Fairfield Prep. But ladies and gentlemen, does not mean I am not positively, absolutely, and confidently excited to graduate. I look back now, remembering the day I shadowed here at Prep, because I remember missing my first day shadowing that person's class. Not because I was late, but because he forgot me. We got to a second period class, and the teacher was no other than Mrs. Clark. We were teaching Greek mythology. She was teaching Greek mythology, and to me, it was like a foreign language. But her ease at teaching the subject sparked my interest. Fairfield Prep was no easy feat for my family financially, and the decision that to enroll to this school was a major sacrifice. Throughout the 4 years, I wandered sheepishly, finding my note. I searched online for the meaning of just a word note, and it gave me a couple of definitions. A single note of a definite pitch made by a musical instrument or a human voice, or a single tone or a particular quality of tone, reflect, or express a mood or attitude. Those definitions stood out to me the most. I kept those definitions in my mind as I walked and pondered. My freshman year was a blur. Although I had fun, made new friends, and ran for student government, and lost, at the moment I did not think about self-discovery, but more about what fun new things to discover. I decided to at least cross one thing off my list before graduating Fairfield Prep, which is to be open to growth. So I joined clubs, sports, and stayed after school, allowing myself to open to others to see the perspectives on topics, opinions, and views that diversified my life. Now, without a doubt, junior year was my most difficult year. Not because of the grades, but because I had a tough one. I was finally an upperclassman, but I didn't really feel upper. I'd gone through some struggles. While the stress piled high, my grades dropped low. My family, we endured tough financial times. My grandmother, who's the glue of my family, passed away, and we were behind on our mortgage. Due to the death of my grandmother, we traveled to Jamaica twice, and that meant we were impacted financially, but I also suffered through academics as well. I remember the day that my mom told me and sat me down as she explained that she would have to draft an email to Prep and withdraw from the school. She expressed with tears in her eyes that she was sorry for diminishing my dreams of a bright future, but it was not only financially feasible, but the choice to attend Prep between having food on the table or attending school. I don't know, but as a young man watching my mother so helpless hurt my heart to the core. During that time, I walked around the corridor at Prep, but as lost, I knew that I needed to find my note. My life changed that year during track season when I was coached by Ford Sr. Just from his mere presence, I drew energy. He was always present in that moment, on the time, encouraging words. He cared deeply about Prep. One day after practice, it was extremely hard practice, by the way, I went home with that answer. That answer was not to give up on my goal to attend Prep, but to be open to growth. In addition, I had to find my note. The next day, I stopped by the diversity office and explained my situation to Mrs. Thomas, who was right over there, just to give her a little shout out. Mrs. Thomas told me if I had to dream it, then I need to believe in it. She explained to me that Fairfield Prep is a place that sees beyond just a physical man, but the honor of a man. I realized then that I had found my note. The note existed in my heart all along, but Fairfield Prep amplified that sound. For the 4 years I walked into Prep with a desire to become someone great without realizing that the music sheet for my life was already written. All I needed to do was walk the path that was already paved. As I end this speech, I would like to first thank my mother, who's sitting right there beside my beautiful Come on, say no. Truly, Mom, thank you. And my beautiful sister, thank you for all the sacrifices you have both made for me to be in this school, because I swear to God, this school has changed my life. I'm not even reading off script, forget the script. It really did change my life. Father Samiski, I remember the first day you came, it was your first year along with mine, and now I'm graduating, and I thank you for all you have done so far. I would also like to thank Prep, especially the community of Mr. Ford and all the faculty, friends, teachers that have grown and taught me throughout these 4 years. You have no idea the impact you all have had on my life. Where am I? Thank you, Mr. Ford Sr. and Mr. Ford Jr. for believing in me. But last but not least, I would like to thank all of you for believing in a young man like me. I have finally found my notes. Thank you.